All right. Okay. Main
It does take a minute, guys, so
Okay.
bear with us here. And by the way, while we're waiting for Wendy's screen to show, I'm going to say that if you have a question, everybody's on mute right now because we have such an overwhelming response tonight. There's almost 50 people on the call. We would like to tell you that if you want to ask a question, there's a little hand on the GoToWebinar control panel. So if you just raise your hand, we'll get to you at the end of the presentation and make sure that we answer your question.
Okay, are we ready now?
Yeah, Len, let's see. Make organizer.
It should be a title page with 2 ships and just star clippers on it.
Yeah, perfect, Wendy. There you are.
Great. So there I am. So first I'm just going to start with a little history of star clippers and how we started. Because I think we are the last remaining authentic sailing company left. I mean, we're not luxury, but we're definitely in the premium market. We are the dream of the Craft family. So Michael and Ann Craft, they are Swedish-born citizens. They currently reside in Monaco and avid sailors. So Michael Craft always wanted to start a company and pass on his love and enthusiasm for sailings to the rest of the world. So this kind of started as a hobby for him, and isn't that always the way? So it started in 1991 with just 1 ship, and then another, and now a third. And this is how we just kind of went gangbusters there. So we have an office in Monaco and then 1 in Miami. We have 3 ships in our fleet altogether. So the one on the left is called the Royal Clipper. That is actually the world record holder, largest 5-masted sailing ship in the world. And then the 2 on the right are the Starflyer and the Star Clipper. So the Star Clipper and the Starflyer, they're identical. They hold 170 passengers. They have 85 cabins. There's 2 swimming pools on board. They have a tropical bar, which is outdoor, a piano bar, which is indoors. And what I'll say about all the ships, they're completely identical as far as the layout goes. So you can go from one ship to the other, and you can get around as if you're on the same ship geographically that way. There's a library on each ship. There's 1 dining room on each ship. The Royal Clipper is just supersized, we'll say that way. So if there's 14 bar stools, this is a shot of the tropical bar, which is outdoor on the Star Clipper and Starflyer. Say if there's 14 bar stools, outside on the tropical bar, there's 24, 26 on the Royal Clipper. So that's the difference there. This is the inside shot of the piano bar on the Star Clipper and Starflyer. So that's a shot there. This is kind of the atrium of the shot where you kind of go down into the main dining room. If you'll see here, these are the openings to the pool. All the pools have glass bottoms. The nice thing is they let natural light into the piano bar area, also magnifies everything. So if you're swimming in the pool and you press yourself up against there, I don't suggest doing that. Everything is kind of blown up. So it paints quite a picture if you're sitting in the piano bar, and kind of stay away from that. It's kind of comical when you're sitting inside and you get a view of that. There's 1 dining room for each ship. I'll get into the dining in a little bit more detail. But if everybody went down to dine at the same exact time, we could accommodate every guest simultaneously. It doesn't really happen, as you guys all know. All the U.S. passengers go down at 7:30 when dinner starts, and then all the Europeans kind of go down at 9:30. So it never does happen, but we could accommodate everyone if it did. We kind of average about 50% U.S. passengers to about 50% Europeans, Canadians, South America, Asia. It's a nice mix of guests. So it's different that way from where I'm compared a lot to WinStar in a sense. Um, Less, more because of the fact that they've acquired some more mega yachts. Um, but I have a tendency to have a more eclectic group of guests that sail on us. But with us being a authentic sailing ship, we hoist our sails manually. And WindStar, they push a button and their sails go up automatically. That's the biggest difference between us. This is a shot of the library in the Star Clipper and the Star Flyer. In the evening, the cruise director at cocktail hour will have talks, and it'll be anywhere from the history of sailing to maybe a history of that island we went to that day, or clipper ships in general, and it's really, really interesting. I didn't pay attention to history so much in school, but now as I get older, it's fascinating to me. All right, and then the Royal Clipper, which is, like I mentioned, the record-holding five-masted sailing ship, largest in the world. It was actually modeled after the Preußen, which was, I guess, a famous ship in 1982. Again, I didn't pay attention, but it's a very famous ship. So it holds 227 passengers and 114 cabins. This ship was put into production in 2000, and I think when Mr. Kraft built this ship, he added some amenities and some attributes that he, after having the first two ships in production, he thought, okay, this is what it's missing. So he added a third pool on the sun deck. He added a third bar on the sun deck. He added a gym and a spa. He added 14 balcony suites, which some people just can't even believe that we have balcony suites on a sailing ship. And then a water sports platform. So the bottom right picture, that water sports platform lowers, and then water sports can be done, right from the ship. So that's pretty cool. The photograph on the left is the atrium. So the photo I showed you on the Star Clipper and Star Flyer, that atrium, it was nice, but not nearly as grand and magnificent as the Royal Clipper, because it has 3 floors, and it has this kind of Titanic, magnificent, elegant feel to it without, the tragic end. This on the right is a shot of the main deck. And then this is, like I said, see the tropical bar? Very identical. There's just more bar stools. So that's outdoor. You could still smoke on all of our ships, even though they're wood. Found that very surprising. Never in your cabins, never indoors anywhere, never in the dining room. It's always on the aft side, and there'll be signs because we keep it all downwind. So if anyone's concerned about, I don't want to smell the smoke, you never really will. It's so breezy that it won't be something that will ever interfere with anything. But we have so many Europeans or cigar smokers or pipe smokers that it's something that we kind of have to, kind of make that concession. But this is the inside atrium piano bar sitting area. And then this is one area of the dining room, just a different kind of angle of it. And this is the library on the Royal Clipper. Library on the Star Clipper and Star Flyer kind of can accommodate 30 comfortably, and I would say the Royal Clipper about 60 comfortably. And now we're getting into the gym and the spa. It's on the Commodore deck of the Royal Clipper, so it's underwater. So the portholes are underwater. When I do groups, I take groups over of travel agents from my territory, and we always do a site inspection of the gym and the spa. And there's two things. They're always, I guess, impressed at the amount of gym equipment that we have on in our gym, and then they think it's pretty cool that you could work out and, potentially see, fish that would swim by and have that kind of a view. So that's that's pretty cool. That's pretty unique. The Royal Clipper also something unique as well is we have this little kind of a I don't want to say a theater, but more of a sitting area, kind of a conference standalone area in the front of the ship where you could do maybe a small presentation of sorts. And then here's where we get kind of to where we're more unique and we stand out. You can become interactive on Star Clippers if you want to. The captain always has an open door policy. You can learn about sailing. You can help steer the ship. You can hoist the sails. You can climb the mast. You can sit on the bowsprit. Our crew is always interactive, and they're always around, and they're always with the guest. It's very different, and it's very casual, and it's very much unique, I think, to Star Clippers, and it's one of the things that guests always come back and comment on about, how they felt that it really added to their experience, and it's really magical. I think might be overselling it, but I got to tell you, when I started with Star Clippers, my first day on the job, they flew me to St. Martin, and I got on the ship. I got on the Star Clipper, and I was all by myself. And I thought, what am I getting myself into? Because as we were still alongside, tethered to the dock, the ship is still moving. And I thought, oh my gosh, I am by myself. What am I going to do? By day 2, I was in a routine. Everyone knew everybody by name. I was getting my coffee at 6 a.m., going to the sun deck. As we're pulling into a port, everyone was like, morning, Bob, morning, Mary. It was fantastic. I cannot recommend enough how comfortable it is to travel by yourself. I'm always alone just because I host groups, and it is something that I could recommend more so, I think, than any other vacation as a single traveler. It just has a comfort level that I think is unsurpassed. All of our water sports are complimentary. So snorkeling, paddle boards, kayaks, sailboats, water skiing, all included. So on day 1, get your snorkel equipment, keep it all week, use it, just return it when, the day that you disembark. Every ship has a 4-man sports crew, so they'll set everything up for you at the beach before we get to that island, and they'll take care of everything for you. They have all the equipment waiting there, and when you go to the beach, it's waiting there for you, and they help you with everything. So also, it's pretty nice to have those guides with you so they can clue you in on, should you snorkel here, should you snorkel there. There are excursions that you can purchase on our ships, and then you charge it to your shipboard account, not a problem, but water sports are something that you can do independent of having to purchase an outside excursion. Okay, and then dining. So breakfast and lunch, casual, wear a swimsuit, wear a cover-up, not a big deal. Breakfast is from 8 to 10, buffet with live food station. Lunch is 12 to 2, buffet with live food station. Dinner, this is kind of where we shine. It's sit-down, a la carte, starts at 7:30. At the most, men have to wear khakis and a collared shirt. That's about it. Women are in sundresses and, as dressed up as that gets. But I think cruising in general, they have raised the bar so much on food that you just have to shine. And I think this is where we excel. You'll have 3 or 4 main entree choices. So you'll have a vegetarian, a chicken, a fish, a beef, and then you select your salad, your cheeses, your sorbet, your vegetable, and then that's your dining experience. You select your dessert. The sommelier will come by. You'll select your wines. It's it's a solid 2-hour affair for dinner. It's fantastic. What these guys can do in their in the galley kitchen, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The first time I ever had baked Alaska was on our ships, and I was taking the plates from people I had never met before that were sitting at our table. Some would say embarrassing. I was totally comfortable with it. So it's casual and it's open seating. So you can sit with whomever you want, and you can also, if you wanted to have a romantic evening with someone, or if you wanted to sit by yourself because you just felt like reading a book, you can do that too. The um, the maitre d' kind of gets to know personalities by day 2, day 3, and he'll sit like people together. Or if you said to him, I kind of want to meet somebody from a different country today, he will put people together that he thinks will have like personalities. So in that way, it's really kind of interesting. At 5 o'clock every day is cocktail hour. So at the Tropical Bar, we put out hors d'oeuvres. And then we'll have a cocktail hour for an hour. So that's all complimentary as well. And then one day a week, we'll do a beach barbecue. So it depends on the itinerary, but we bring everything out to the beach, including the bar, and we'll grill out. And it's usually American cuisine, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken ribs, things like that. And we do a full beach barbecue, and it's fantastic. It's one of the things I really look forward to. But you can see from the shot of the food and the presentation that it's really spectacular. Accommodations, we just redid all the bedding in all the room, and we kind of brightened it up a little bit. It used to be a little bit darker, but we brightened it up a little bit. And also what you'll notice too is we're very nautical themed, a lot of cherry wood, a lot of brass, kind of keeping with the sailing theme, if you will. See, this was the old bedding. So you can see we kind of brightened it up a little bit. So this is a Cat 1 on the Star Clipper and the Star Flyer. I can't give you balcony suites, but what I can do is offer you a Cat 1, which these doors open up to the main deck or the sun deck. Now you might get foot traffic potentially. To me, it would be offset by the larger cabin, the great tub. It's got a mini bar in there. You've got a really big, beautiful picture window. You're not going to get a lot of foot traffic because these are way up front. And then I've got 4 that are way in the back by the sun deck, by the pool on the back of the ship. So if someone were to ask me what's the best cabin on the Star Clipper and Star Flyer, I wouldn't say owner's suite. I would say the Cat 1. I just really like these cabins a lot. All right, where's my, all right. And that's the owner's cabin, it's way in the back. And then here we're looking at some veranda suites that are on the Royal Clipper. And so you can see the balcony here, also coming with the mini bar and then the 24-hour room service. So these are really, really nice too. And then we're getting into some itineraries that Tammy has held aside for you. So this is this September on the Star Flyer, starting in Cannes. So these are really nice. Last year, this itinerary started in Monte Carlo, and it didn't do so well. And we thought, well, you know what? It's because it's starting in Monte Carlo. People don't want to start in Monte Carlo. They want to stop in Monte Carlo. So we have a bunch of itineraries, including this one where we're starting in Cannes. So I would pronounce these stops for you, but I don't want to embarrass myself. So Corsica has a lot of stops in there, but Saint-Tropez, I know. There you go. And then
but the
also,
thing, Wendy, by the time they come home, they're going to know how to pronounce them.
Well, absolutely. Fluent in French, fluent. I have more experience in the Caribbean because I'm in Wisconsin, so I do a lot more Caribbean just in my territory than I do in Europe. And then when I take my groups, I tend to do more Caribbean. But this itinerary also with Tammy is in March of next year. Which I think, Tammy, I have a group going on this one too, so I think I'll be on this cruise. This is the Royal Clipper out of Barbados, and the nice thing about us is we're smaller, We're going to get into these ports where you're going to be the only ship there. So you're not going to, I used to use a selling point of, we're not 2,000 people, so you're not going to have this mad rush to, or it's not going to be this big hassle to get off the ship. Well, I think even the big ships kind of figured out how to do that much better than they used to. So that's not really the biggest selling point anymore. Now I think I've changed it to we're really the only ship there. Maybe not on that island, but we're probably on the other side of the island where the big mass market commercial ship isn't. So we're going to the more obscure side where you're going to be 170 people on that side of the island, the more unique, different, out of the way. It really is spectacular. Îles de Sens, I have been there 4 times before I started working for Star Clipper. Never even heard it before, and it's fantastic. This is a new itinerary Tammy asked me to add for September 10th of 2016. That's why it looks a little different. So it's Venice to Venice, Croatia and Montenegro, 7 nights on the Star Clipper. So it's one of the more popular that I get requests for because it is Venice to Venice, but it also has the Dubrovnik, the Kotor, and the Slovenia. This one has such a nice mix of different unique places that this one gets a lot of requests for. And I'll say this, we don't have handicap rooms, we don't have elevators. It's really for a nice, active, soft adventure type of person that's looking for a really unique experience of authentic sailing ship, and it really is spectacular. And to experience it is to love it. And I have a 60% repeater passenger basis. So people just go year after year, and they absolutely love it. And I think you will too. All right, Tammy, jump in.
Thanks, Wendy. And what you said was true about the sailing. It gets under your skin. People become addicted in some cases, but they really enjoy the experience. We find the same kind of phenomenon with the riverboat cruises. Once they've tried the smaller, intimate experience with so much personal attention and crew that knows your name, and you really, one of the things that I noticed is on a big ship, when you get into port, you either have to kind of get into this stairway with thousands of people trying to get off, or you have to get into a ballroom and take a number in order to get on the tender to get off. Well, with these small vessels, they take you to shore when you're ready. And that, I think some people get really surprised about that level of service when they're so used to the big ship experience. And you know what? There's space for that in our world as well. But once you try this, it's very comfortable, and it's hard for people to go back to that mass experience. And so we're excited to get started with this. And I wanted to say to everybody that we added the Croatia itinerary. We've been studying that. That is a very untouched area of the world. And if you know anything about it, Yugoslavia was its own country, and it's split up into 7 or 5 different countries. And that Croatia kind of is the entire coast of what used to be Yugoslavia. And so the scenery is spectacular, the prices are right, and it's just, it'll be a unique experience. So as we said in the beginning, we want to take you to places that allow you to see unique things and to make these experiences life-changing for you. And in many cases, they are. Talking about life-changing, for 20 years, I've been listening to singles talk about how they feel kind of penalized because they have to pay more for their own space. And so for as many years as I remember, I'm always pushing, and we're trying to get our vendors to help us out in any way possible. And we are starting to see some real movement in this direction. And guys, I want to say that another reason, not only does Star Clipper normally only charge 50% more for the single cabin, which is lower than any of the other ships out there other than the very high end, like Seabourn and so on, but they're already, quite costly. They have a lower single supplement, but of the mainstream cruises, 50% is rare. Star Clipper offers 50%, but guess what? For our cruise in September, and I know some of you guys are on here, and we said that this would be a deal that was only for members of this webinar. If you sign up by March 12th for our single sailing adventure, Wendy, maybe you can go back to the French itinerary for me.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Couple slides. Single sailing adventure, round trip con, and this is the French Riviera and Corsica. You know where the people who live on the French Riviera go on vacation? Corsica. So it's absolutely the lifestyle of the rich and famous, and it's really going to be a special itinerary. We have 10 singles already booked, which is a great number for this early on. They're all excited. Guess what, guys? We have good news for you. Remember that number one cabin that Wendy was talking about? We just made it affordable. There is no single supplement for anybody who books this Corsica and Côte d'Azur, France cruise before March 12th. Can I get a woohoo? Everybody's muted. So let me see some hands up. Guys, what does that mean to you? It's at least $1,000 savings. I'm looking at the pricing. And for some of you who might have made a reservation on a Deck 6 or a Category 5 cabin, you could now move up to the 2 or the 1 for just about the same price. Or you can convert, and we won't charge you anything more for that to have your own. Look at all the woohoos. We're lighted up. Hi, Dawn. Hey, Dawn. Great, guys. Love it. Oh, that's DJ. So, I feel so excited to be able to do this, and we are pecking away, and I had to arm wrestle Wendy to get this out of her boss. I arm wrestled her, and then she arm wrestled her boss. But we got it approved today, so we wanted to be able to announce it. There's no limit, but you just have to do it by March 12th. So anyone who's booked, Robin and I will take care of you this week. We'll explain how that works. But for anybody who has not booked, I see Alan out there. I see quite a few of you. Doug, I don't think you can fit another vacation in this year, but God love you if you can, because you're always traveling with us. This is a great opportunity. Doug knows that when you guys talk to us, we listen, because he is going to be taking one of his dream destination vacations this year. So if anybody has ideas about future places, please bring it to our attention, because we are in a position to be able to accommodate you all, and we want to go where you want to go. So we listened. This is what we heard. We know you love this small ship and this laid back, nothing fancy, just play it as it goes. Meet other single people who have that same laid back attitude. That's a big deal. Sometimes you go on a cruise and there might be 50, 60 people, and not everybody, some people are wired a little bit more tightly than others. So we know that when we're on the Star Clippers, everybody's laid back, which is a nice breath of fresh air from our day-to-day existence.
Right,
so,
it's like a barefoot cruise atmosphere with a private yacht feel to it. That's kind of how it goes. And I remember my first week of employment, because this is my first cruise ship I always worked for. I always worked for wholesalers or hotels, and a travel agent said, "What's your single supplement?" And I said, "What's a single supplement?" And she said, "Well, cruise lines, they charge, double." And I go, "Really? That's crazy." So I was happy that Star Clippers only charged 50% more. But I was surprised that the single traveler kind of, not penalized, but a little penalized.
Right. They feel, the example that I would use is it's the same with a hotel room. If Wendy, you and I check into the Marriott and we share a room and it's $300, we each pay $150. If you take it alone, you have to pay $300. That's the cost of the product, and we understand that. But sometimes there are scenarios where we are able to take advantage of kind of a time period that might not be, for sure nobody would offer to singles a discount on New Year's or Christmas week or spring break. but we look for those opportunities, those holes in the inventory and the availability, and we help our partners to understand how we can use that to help our singles. So we want to thank you. We want to thank you and your boss. We really appreciate it. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, I do see there's some questions here. I've been answering them. One of the questions is, will it be all singles? Well, we sure hope so. So, guys, I don't know what other motivation you need to get on board this vessel, at least for September. Let's try it out. Let's take over the world. We are going to see it, and we're going to see it in comfort and a modicum of luxury when it comes to the food and the destinations. And like I said, we've had over 100 singles sailing with us in the past. We have 25,000 members. And I think that if the price is right, this is the kind of opportunity that everybody will and will want to and will take advantage of. So be sure to make your booking before March 12th. And one other thing I wanted to mention about our sailings that we added at Singles Travel International, we are offering wine with dinner on all of our sailings. That is not a standard offering of Star Clipper, but we know that that might be something that's of interest based on some of our other cruises that we offer. We know that we get good reports on that. So we're footing the bill for wine with dinner every night. So you've got great destinations, super nice cabins with lower beds, no more bunk beds for the most part, other than the lowest. I mean, look at the pictures that Wendy showed us for the cuisine. I mean, that's really an upgrade from what we had experienced in the past. And now with much lower single supplement rates, and for a limited time only, no single supplement, it's fantastic. We're ready to begin our journey, our new journey with Star Clippers, and we hope you'll all join us. If you can't make September, then perhaps March or the following year. So thanks for coming, everybody. There was another question. I'm sorry, I was moving on, and I should answer a question that DJ placed today via email, Wendy. What is the electrical current on board the vessel? Is it 110 or 220? Give us some information about that.
You are, let's see, September, you're on the
Starflyer.
The Starflyer, that's what we have in the U.S. So I don't know if that's
110.
Okay, yeah. So that's our standard U.S. Electrical. So you don't need anything conversion-wise that way. The Royal Clipper is the one that has the European outlets, but we have converters on that.
Gotcha.
So you're fine for September. And then
okay, and as a note of interest on that, and I did not mention, but we did add 2 packages to the September departure. We have the Ooh La La Paris package, because come on, how can you go to France and not stop in Paris? I wouldn't do it. I'm not doing it. I don't think you guys should do it. So we have a 3-night package, and we're covering some really hallmark and iconic things to see while you're in Paris. We've got a half-day tour that's going to be kind of a scenic tour of the city. We're in a 4-star hotel. It includes breakfast every day. We have a lunch cruise on the Sun River, a dinner with wine. Then you have an optional day in Giverny, which is Cloisonnet's home and garden, combined with Versailles. We're going to take you to the airport on the day of the cruise. And then we have a flight for the group between Paris and Nice. And then we're going to pick you up in Nice and take you to the ship. So it's very comprehensive. After the cruise, we have added the Because You Can package, which is our planned words for the 3-night package on the French Riviera, staying in the town of Cannes. Also a 4-star property, breakfast daily, welcome dinner with wine. We're going to pick you up from the ship. We're going to do a full-day tour of Cannes, Nice, and Juan-les-Pins, which are all on the French Riviera. Take you to the hotel. We're going to give you dinner with some nice French wine. Then we take you on a full-day tour of Monte Carlo and Èze. And Èze is the prettiest little village perched up on the highest little cliff overlooking the Mediterranean, and it is precious, and it is a must-do if you're in that area. We're going to give you a free day to do some additional touring, and then we end with our final night in Cannes before you fly home. So both of those packages were recently added. We hope that if you are joining us in September that you take advantage of adding one or both. Robin is always available to help you sort out what might be the best options for your air. And we are just waiting now for you guys to click yes and come with us. And if anybody needs some French lessons, I'm available.
And can I add something, Tammy? The
Sure.
nice thing is, because we're smaller, if anybody has dietary needs, I'm really good with vegetarian, gluten-free. I'm getting there, but any of those things you can bring to Tammy's attention. If anybody needs, I just had a request for a group in March. Somebody needed a fan in their room because they have a sleep disorder. Things like that we can do. Because we're a boutique cruise line, we can take care of those things for you through Tammy. And, it's things like that when we're a smaller cruise line that we can help you with. And just anything, any sort of request. I had a request for light beer. So, we put that through. So we're getting, more light beer on board because we don't have a domestic light beer. So we're going to make sure we have that on board for a group. So things like that, because of the size that I'm sure Tammy's going to get of the Singles International, we can make special requests.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the reason why we're engaging in a partnership with a company like Star Clippers. We need to partner with companies that are responsive to singles. And so really, as part of my job as a president, I'm always working on that for our members. So in the background, even though it looks like a glamorous job here, we're always trying to make those small improvements. So thanks for offering that, Wendy. There was a question here by one of the members who asked, how do we match the shared cabins? So for example, and the question was in particular for March. Right now we do not have the no single supplement deal for March, but we still have the low single supplement at 50% more. So if you go to that page, you'll see that the pricing there is very favorable. But what do we do if you don't want to take your own cabin? Well, Albert, we will match you. We guarantee and always have guaranteed to find you a roommate as long as you make your reservation at least 90 days prior to departure. So that policy is true for every single one of our vacations. So that's why it's beneficial that if you're going to share, sign up early. Then we have a better chance of finding an appropriate match for you, but you never have to worry about it. You click, you book now, you put your deposit down, and as long as it's outside of that window, we will find a roommate for you or we pay for your single supplement. So it's to your advantage to book early.
What a great policy. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I see a hand raised from Chica. And Chica, I'm going to unmute you for a second because I think that you may have to ask a question. So Chica, you are now live. Did you have a question for us? Maybe she didn't. Okay. I saw the hand raised there. So sometimes that means that they have a question and they'd like to do a verbal.
Got it.
Does anybody else have any questions here? From the list of questions on my screen, it looks like we've added them all and or we've addressed them all. Does anybody else have a question, either type it in or raise your hand. You have that little hand icon that you can click next to your name and I'll see it. Okay, great. Well, boy, this certainly was informative for all of us, Wendy.
Yeah,
well,
if anyone thinks of anything and you want to send it to Tammy and she can send me an email, I'll be happy to answer anything. Sometimes when you hang up, something will come to you, and then I'm certainly...
Yes. And if anybody has questions, you know the best place to send all your questions before and after you booked your trip is to service@singlestravelintl.com. That's service, SERVICE, at singlestravelintl.com. And we'll get back to you with your questions. If you need if you're booking and you have some questions or need help with airfare, Robin will be the one to help you. But after you've booked, or tonight after the webinar, if you have some questions, your best bet is to do service, and I'll be watching that tomorrow morning to see that I get to everybody. Great, Wendy. Thanks very, very much.
My pleasure.
Thank all of your bosses over at Star Clipper for giving us this generous and unlimited offer until March 12th. We really appreciate it.
Let's scare him and get so many cabins in this 2-week period that we make him kind of sick.
Single power. Hey, well,
that's right.
I'm going to say to everybody then, bonsoir et merci pour venir ici avec nous ce soir. And that says, thanks for joining us this evening. We enjoyed it, and good night.
Thanks, Tammy. Have a good one.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.